action?
You know what we need in this country is not grandstanding. So I'm sorry about my voice.
Okay.
We don't need grandstanding at this time. We need to talk with each other, not at each other. What we are seeing now is talking at each other. We need to reason as Kenyans. Where is this taking us? For me, the position is this. We need, first of all, to keep away from terminologies like handshake. We are talking about people talking with each other for the sake of this country. Are there problems facing Kenyans? The answer is yes. When we see people demonstrating and breaking shops, is that a solution? The answer is no. Where do we get the solution? We need to talk, sit down and talk with each other. Take, for example, protests. Is it within the Constitution for any person to organize a protest? The answer is yes. You can organize a protest. And the police have a responsibility to ensure that the protests are peaceful. Now, when we have protests, people claiming this is a peaceful protest, but the next day people are cleaning glasses all over the place. That's a problem. We have a problem. We cannot afford that as a country. On the other hand, we cannot afford people in power grandstanding and threatening the others.
But it's their right. I mean, they worked hard to be where they are, Sheikh.
Well, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Is it helping, for example, when the police is unleashing the force we saw them unleashing? It doesn't help the country at all.
Okay.
Take, for example, you remember we have an experience in this country where some people decided to hold a demonstration and even maybe do something according to others, which was unconstitutional, swearing in a people's president. What happened that day? They decided to allow them to go ahead with it. It ended there. Why don't you allow people to protest? Allow them some space where you can control the crowds, listen to them. They say they have a memorandum they want to give. Choose a few people, take the memorandum to whoever you want to take the memorandum, and that will be the end.
Okay.
But when you unleash the police on people, you unleash the water cannons on people, what do you expect?
Okay.
So grandstanding, no, we need to talk with each other.
Let me bring out Bishop. The same thing, the same question. Are we heading to a place that we can finally do this, sit as a country and talk to each other? What Sheikh is saying, are we heading there? Because when you hear sentiments, in fact, a day after the protest that yesterday, Raila Odinga says we'll be doing 2 instead of 1 due to public demand. And then the president comes today and says the same thing. We will deal with you firmly because you're economic saboteurs, and assures the Securities Exchange that Mondays and Thursday will be the best day for this.
Thank you very much, Ken. I think what Sheikh here has said sets a very good stage. That is not about the value of what has been said now, but the context of our whole country. And today, the Catholic bishops actually issued a statement in which they spoke about the need for dialogue, the need to listen. A lot of our leaders are not listening because we need to listen to what's the problem. And I think the basic listening is about the problems which are facing this country. The problems precisely of the economy, of the struggling economy, the high cost of living, the issues that have come of famine, drought, and other issues that are real. And we need to listen because they are coming also with a lot of passion, emotion when they are expressed. So the grandstanding, as Sheikh has referred to, the standoff, the idea of wanting to show might, the idea of wanting to show you are top dog at this moment is not what we should be doing. But on the other hand, let us recognize that the way we must dialogue, the interface, must be within the constitutional precincts. It must be what is within the confines of such an engagement. And so it's important that when we speak about dialogue, we believe that the persons who are aggrieved will bring the issues that are pertinent and constitutional, that are easy to discuss. Obviously, you can't bring a topic or an issue to be discussed that is totally out of place. So on the other hand, it's very difficult to say, you can't say that the demonstrators were the only ones who were on the wrong, or for that matter, the police who tried to keep peace. Let's say one thing, that the demonstrations in our mind should not have happened, for the simple reason, the great losses, we have not as yet exhausted other avenues. There are avenues in which we can address those issues that we are speaking about. But I do believe that they were not as destructive as perhaps we feared. And while there were excesses of the police, there is no doubt that there was also very evident restraint in some areas where you saw. But again, we don't want Kenyans having tear gases even in their house or in their car. We don't want Kenyans, even one Kenyan being clubbed. It shouldn't happen. And so let's get a little more civilized as a nation. Let's seek avenues which are a little bit more politically civil, which means we don't have to fight in order to avoid.
What is, Archbishop, before I go to Suba, because I say he wants to say something, you said we have not exhausted all avenues.
Yes.
I'm wondering which ones, because the call of dialogue, the first thing that happened, the protagonist in this said we're giving you 14 days to act. Now there were 3 irreducible minimums. First, to open the server. Secondly, reduce the cost of living. And third, open the server, cost of living. The
IBC thing.
And IBC stop the process of recruiting the new IBC. So that was the third one. I mean, the second and third are easy to deal with. Cost of living. I mean, they've called about subsidies, which Kenyans felt something. But the first one was irreducible. When I sat with Raila Odinga 2 weeks ago on the floor and asked him that question, he said that's where we begin. It's a hardline stance that probably the president could not take. So when you talk about not exhausting avenues, what do you have in mind?
I have in mind that these people have hearts, these people are humans. Much as they have their political ego and political position which they really want to hold fast to, I do think deep down our leaders value our people, value peace, value the fact that our country should not burn, value that there are people who are going to eat, to live without eating because someone in this demonstration destroyed their livelihood. They value deep, but the political rhetoric and the political fanfare that surrounds such occasions make them, I think, temporarily blind, and therefore you come out with these excessive statements. In my view, it's possible to sit and discuss. There is not any moment where you can say you cannot sit and listen. That first shows you're not a leader, you're not a statesman. If you can't sit and listen, you're not a leader, you're not a statesman, and it means that in fact you're a steward of our nation. You are a dangerous steward if you cannot listen to what can be said by another. We must learn to accommodate. This is what even a new way of leadership, where we accommodate one another and we are not always at one another and trying to show I'm top dog. We are all leaders. Right now, the government is a government. They're the ones leading the government, but even the others who are not in government are leaders. And all of us must show respect and dignity in the office you hold, and dignity to the other counterpart that you engage with. You can't come out forceful every time someone comes out to your house. You can't be coming out with a club. You must be someone who, even though he's out there, you are able to civilly engage, unless you can know that this man is actually out to do ill. So in other words, let's be civil.
Let's be civil. Let me bring this. President William Ruto is one of the people who are very instrumental